Dinosaur, written by Stephen Llewelyn and performed by Chris Barrie. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell to keep up to date with the latest installments.
Hiro was also concerned about how long the operation was taking. They were already a few minutes behind, which would be critical at the end of the process. He was just about to hand over from one restart team to another when engineering was plunged into darkness. Giorgio looked at him in surprise as the dull glow of emergency lighting came to life.
"What caused that?"
asked the Sarge. Both engineers turned back to their consoles, typing frantically.
"It's ship-wide,"
said Giorgio.
"Of all the timing!"
"This was no accidental breakdown," Hiro called across the engineering station whilst opening a channel to the bridge. "We're under attack. Again."
"Douglas here."
The captain's voice returned through the speaker. "Captain, Hiro, someone has taken the lighting circuit offline."
"We're on emergency too. Other than the bridge and main engineering, where else can they access those systems?"
asked Douglas. "From the very next point in our restart chain," replied Hiro anxiously. "Sir, this is bad. Not only do we need those people online in the next 60 seconds, but if our saboteur is there, they could stall the entire restart program. Captain, we need guards there on the double, or we've had it." Douglas didn't need telling twice and opened a channel to Major White immediately. "I'll need to go and sort this out," said Hiro.
"No," said Giorgio. "We need you here. I'll go."
Jackson broke into the conversation.
"I can't go with you and be here with the chief."
"I know, Sarge, but it's not far,"
said Baccini.
"I'm just going to have to chance it."
The Sarge gave the younger man a sideways look, clearly suggesting,
"This is a bad idea."
"No choice," the Italian stated. "Chief?"
Hiro nodded. "Go," he said, "but be careful." Baccini skidded to a halt at the station in question, panting after his jog through the ship. Fear clutched at his heart. Just 15 seconds remained before this system had to be online. But when he saw the bodies, he froze. The flickering of an emergency light added another layer of nightmare to the scene of carnage before him. A feeling of faintness threatened to overwhelm the engineer when running, booted feet provided a timely distraction, bringing him back from the edge. Private Jones and Major White arrived quickly from the opposite direction, faltering as they too saw what had become of the team in charge of the area.
"What happened?"
snapped the Major.
"I don't know,"
Giorgio answered.
"I got here just seconds ago."
There were 4 bodies on the floor, all within 10 meters of one another. 2 were scientists from the Mars pod, a third was a security temp. The fourth, and furthest away from the group, was Dr. Heidi Schultz. Jones knelt to check the neck of the 2 scientists. The male had a massive contusion to his lower jaw. "This one's unconscious," he said, reaching across to the female. "This one's—" White gave him an anxious, questioning look. Jones shook his head. "Dead, sir." Turning the body, it was easy to see why. White was an experienced soldier, but he winced all the same. The right-hand side of her face had been caved in, her eye completely crushed. Worse, the pool of blood from the head trauma was considerable and appeared black in the strobing light, suggesting death had not been immediate. He walked to the security temp a few meters away, kneeling down. The man's head lolled at a grotesque angle.
"This one's dead too," he reported sadly. "Neck's broken."
Giorgio gagged, turning away. Jones moved on to Schultz.
"Sir, she's breathing."
"Great, stay with her,"
replied White, whilst putting a gentle hand to the engineer's back.
"You okay, son?"
Baccini was far away, completely unresponsive. With no time available for mollycoddling, White grabbed him, pulling him up straight.
"Get it together, crewman. You're here to do a job, so come on," he barked.
Baccini nodded.
"Yes,"
he said dully. White shook him again.
"Engineer!"
he snapped. This time the light came back to the young man's eyes.
"Yes, Major. Sorry."
Making a strenuous effort to bring himself under control, he walked towards the access panel where the science staff had been working. Jones dragged the bodies together near the prone form of Dr. Schultz, whilst the Major moved the unconscious man gently out of the way too. Turning back to Boccini, White asked,
"What state are we in, crewman? I need to report to the captain immediately."
"Give me a second here," replied Boccini, struggling with the breaker.
"That's it,"
he said through gritted teeth, straining, and the lights came back on, everywhere. White's comm binged.
"Major White?"
inquired the captain's voice.
"White here, Captain," he said. "Crewman Boccini is here with me, hence the lights are back. He's looking over the equipment. In the meantime, I need Flanagan down here immediately. We have 4 crewmen down, 2 unconscious, including Dr. Schultz, and 2 dead."
Douglas's sigh could be heard through the comm.
"I'll get straight on it. Who've we lost?"
he asked tiredly.
"Not sure yet, Captain."
"Very well. Keep me appraised, Major. Douglas out." In his command seat, Douglas opened a channel to sickbay, rubbing his fingers hard into his eyes to relieve exhaustion.
"Doctor, we've an urgent situation."
"Captain, I'm a little busy here," answered an irate Flanagan. "What's happening there?" asked Douglas, stacking incredulity atop an already tottering pile of disbelief.
"Someone's tried to kill Lloyd,"
the harassed response shot back.
"Someone who knew exactly what to do, too. They switched the monitors onto a diagnostic routine so that, to the casual observer, it looked like it was working normally. The guard didn't know any better, so he assumed nothing was wrong." "What did they do to him?" asked Douglas.
"I think they injected him with a large dose of epinephrine, that's adrenaline, and sent him headlong into tachycardia. He was just starting to arrest when I got back here. It's a miracle he's still with us. And we all thought he had no heart. I'm just giving him a shot of vasodilator phentolamine."
"Will that save him?"
"It's what we've got. Thanks for getting the lights back on, by the way. At least I can see which end I'm inserting the needle. It's largely up to him now, but I'll have to keep a close eye on him just the same." "Well, there's something I need you to do for me, Dave," said Douglas. "Get your bag and get down to Major White in Corridor 9, stat." "I can't leave him, Captain. He's still well and truly in the woods," replied Flanagan.
"I'm willing to take that chance, Davy."
"But if he dies, it's on me, James."
"But if you dinna help the team bringing the ship back online, it will nae matter. You'll be able to play Lloyd a really sad song of contrition on the harp from the next cloud over. If it eases your conscience, I can make it an order."
"No need, Captain," said Flanagan, realizing he'd been trumped. "I'm on my way, bag and all." "Oh, no," said Boccini quietly.
"What is it?"
asked White, kneeling down next to the engineer. "By shutting down this panel, they've completely screwed up the protocol," Giorgio replied exhaustedly.
"Can you fix it?"
asked White. "I don't know." Boccini closed his eyes, sitting back on his haunches.
"Well, do something,"
White snarled.
"I am doing something,"
snapped the younger man. "I'm thinking. Please shut up." As an afterthought, he added, "Sir."
"Okay, my bad," said White, standing up.
Patting the engineer on the shoulder, he went to check on the 2 survivors.
"Watch his back, Jones. If I'd known this station was so important, I'd have posted more men."
"Yes, sir," Jones answered. "But there's probably another dozen stations just as sensitive all down the line, and all as underprotected as this one. We're spread pretty thin." White sighed.
"I don't know enough about the ship to make these calls,"
he said. "If anything more could have been done, the captain would have seen to it, sir," replied the Welshman loyally. "He's a very clever man, he is." White nodded.
"Of course, I don't speak against the captain. Over the last week, I've learned to respect and trust him a lot. I just wish there was more I could do."
Jones now stood with his back to the wall opposite Boccini, with a clear view both ways down the corridor. "Yes, sir," he agreed. "If it helps, I reckon half the people on this ship feel the same way right now, isn't it?" White was kneeling next to the stricken man and woman when Dr. Flanagan rounded the corner at a run. He stood to greet him.
"Am I glad to see you?"
Flanagan nodded to the Major.
What have we here? He asked, bending to examine the victims.
The man with the impressive bruising began to groan. Flanagan held smelling salts under his nose, making him jump and shake his head as he came the rest of the way to.
What?
He said groggily.
Easy, son. It's Doc Flanagan. You've had a good knock on the head. Can you tell me your name?
Parrott. Donald Parrott,
he murmured. Unsure if the fellow was in his right mind, Flanagan raised an eyebrow to the Major. White shrugged, a lopsided smile tugging at his lips.
I don't know,
he mouthed.
Okay, Donald, tried Flanagan kindly. Let's see if we can get you sitting up.
What happened?
The man said a little more clearly.
We were hoping you could tell us,
said White, kneeling once more. The man rubbed his head again to clear it.
I heard someone approach. I turned and...
He struggled against dizziness for a moment before continuing.
A pain, a bright flash in front of my eyes, and then that stink you just put under my nose. Oh, God, my head. Where's Jamie?
Jamie?
Asked Flanagan.
Jamie Ferguson,
he repeated blearily.
She was working with me at this station. Is she okay?
Then he saw the bodies.
No!
He cried, his voice breaking wretchedly as he tried desperately to get up and cross to her, but Flanagan held him gently in place.
I'm so sorry, son,
he said with feeling,
but the whole ship's in extreme danger. Can you remember anything else?
Tears streamed down the man's face as he gulped and spoke haltingly.
Black. A black mask. Someone slight in build, not tall. That's all, I'm sorry.
Flanagan and White shared a glance.
That sounds like the perp who attacked the Sarge,
said White. He immediately turned away to report this to the bridge. Flanagan proceeded to check on Dr. Schultz. There was a deep cut on her brow, but her breathing was steady. Looking around, he spotted a blood stain smudged across the bulkhead above where she had fallen. It was at roughly head height for the German woman. It looked as though she had collided with the wall with enough force to stun her, splitting her skin. Her skull seemed intact. The blow had not been strong enough to fracture bone.
Lucky,
he concluded. Parrott reached across the corridor floor to one of Ferguson's hands, sobbing quietly. Flanagan watched him sorrowfully for a few seconds. Sniffing and swallowing his emotion, he put his back to the grieving man, providing Parrott with a modicum of privacy. He pulled out his comm, opening a channel.
Justin, come in.
Smith here, Doctor,
the ship's nurse answered.
Are you anywhere near sick bay?
Asked Flanagan.
Close enough, Dave. What do you need?
Good. Bring a stretcher down to corridor 9, please. I'll need a hand to get Heidi back to sick bay. She's okay, but she's had a nasty knock on the head. See if you can rustle up a couple of helpers, too. We have casualties to move.
On my way. Smith, out.
Just a few meters further down the corridor, Boccini was barking into the comm angrily.
They knew where to hit us again. Can we change the order and come back to this station? I'm thinking somewhere around power management.
We could, Chief Nasaki answered from engineering after a brief pause for thought.
But it would mean unlocking the protocols in the power regulation routines again, before we can plug the application back in. It will eat a bit more of the time we don't have.
Got a better idea?
Asked Boccini.
Well, no, Hiro admitted honestly. All right, you'd better stay on station there, because I'll need to slice you in between power consumption and power conduit diagnostics control. It will be about 10 minutes before it's your turn. This is the only other place we can slot that protocol in without starting again, so you'll need to be ready. If we miss it, the restart schedule is a bust.
I know,
said Giorgio.
I know you know, replied Hiro. What I'm saying is, good luck.
You too. I'll be waiting for your prompt in a little over 9 minutes. Boccini, out.
Help arrived quickly, and White watched the medical team carry the dead and wounded away, assisted by a few hastily drafted stretcher-bearers. He heard Boccini wrapping up a heated conversation with his superior via the comm, and could tell that the young man was very concerned about their situation. The engineer closed the channel and stood, turning to White and Jones.
Gentlemen, he said seriously, for the next 9 minutes, this terminal is one of the most tempting targets on the entire ship for anyone who knows what we're doing.
White nodded his understanding.
I'll stay right here with Private Jones, he said. We've got your back, crewman.
Thank you,
replied Giorgio, and got back to work without another word. Flanagan and Smith laid Dr. Schultz down carefully on a spare bed in sickbay. Flanagan activated a scanning device, pulling it down over her unconscious form. He talked to Corporal Thomas over his shoulder.
"Did you see anyone go near Lloyd over the last half hour?" he asked.
"No, sir," said Thomas. "Only you and Dr. Schultz, of course."
Flanagan paused what he was doing while Smith continued to clean the wound on Schultz's brow.
"Heidi was over here?" he asked. "Did you happen to see what she did?"
"Not really, sir," said the corporal. "My attention was mainly on the entrance to sick bay, in case we were attacked by the killer. I just assumed the doctor was checking on him. She's not one for explaining herself," he added.
Flanagan raised his eyebrows briefly, tilting his head in acknowledgement of the point, and then frowned in thought. After a few moments, he shook it aside, continuing with the job in hand.
"Not sure if she's going to be able to help us in the next couple of hours, but I'm going to try and wake her. Maybe she'll surprise us. She's a tough one, sure enough."
He gave the German woman an injection. Within a few seconds, her eyelashes fluttered as she regained consciousness. Douglas opened a ship-wide channel, addressing everyone on the New World and the pod simultaneously.
"This is the captain. In a little over 2 hours, we'll be entering the Earth's atmosphere, and it's likely to be a rough ride. As you know, it's standard practice for all passengers to be in the embarkation lounge during takeoff and landing, and this situation will be no different."
He paused for a moment, thinking. Now for the unpleasant part of the message.
"As many of you may have already heard by now, we have a killer on board, but there should be no danger to passengers if you follow my instructions. There is no need for panic or confusion. My orders are as follows. All passengers will make their way to embarkation within the next 30 minutes. There will be security in the corridors for your protection. It is vital that everyone remain in as large a group as possible. No one should stray off anywhere alone. You will certainly be aware that our crews are extremely busy with ship's operations at the moment, so we need to rely on all of you to watch out for yourselves and for each other. Everyone, please make sure that all friends and neighbours are accounted for and that no one is left behind. Once everyone is in embarkation, a couple of security guards will be left with you for your protection, and the embarkation lounge will be sealed. I will make a final announcement 15 minutes before we enter atmosphere. This 15-minute warning will be your last chance to strap in. Please proceed in an orderly, controlled fashion, and we should come through this safely. Thank you. Douglas out.
He sat back feeling a modicum of relief, glad that particular chore was out of the way. He just hoped that no one started a panic. Singh was speaking with Nasaki over the comm.
20 seconds until Giorgio's intercession, he said.
Understood, the chief replied. Douglas realized he was squeezing the arms of his command chair so hard that his hands were cramping.
The power regulation protocols are unlocked, Singh was saying. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Giorgio, it's now or never.
They waited. After 50 seconds of gut-wrenching anxiety, the comm came back to life.
"Got it! Lock it down, Sandeep!"
The pilot complied immediately, exhaling his relief.
"Well done, Georgie. You too, hero. Outstanding. On with the next. We're still over 3 minutes behind."
"Can we do it, Sandy?"
asked Douglas.
"We're still in with a chance, Captain," he said.
Douglas tried to relax. He felt like a bowstring.
"If we pull this together, you're all getting a commendation. I've no idea how anyone will read it, but you're getting one anyway. I'd promote you if we had any jobs to promote you to."
"I'll be more than satisfied if we escape being promoted to glory, Captain,"
replied Singh, his boyish grin returning fleetingly.
"I'll raise a dram to that,"
agreed Douglas. The next couple of hours flew by, with everyone living on their nerves. The engineering staff especially forced themselves on to new heights of speed and accuracy, the fear of imminent death spurring them like a whip. The USS New World was 16 minutes from the top of the Earth's atmosphere, and they were still nearly 3 minutes behind schedule. That elusive 3 minutes which had dogged them from the beginning of the process. The whole crew had risen to the task and performed exceptionally, especially considering their exhaustion and lack of proper training. Douglas knew the hastily cobbled-together engineering teams would continue to work frenetically right up to the last second.
Well, he thought, it's time for the final announcement. Let's hope final is only relative.
He stole a brief moment to compose himself before accessing the ship-wide address system once more, making sure he was also patched into the pod.
This is Captain Douglas with your 15-minute warning. Be sure to strap yourselves in and secure anything which needs securing. Please take particular care to check the children and any pets are safely strapped in too. That's 15 minutes, people. There will not be time for any further warnings, so let's all get to it. To all the teams working hard to bring the engines back online, we salute you and thank every one of you for your tireless dedication. Remember to clip your emergency harnesses to the wall rails. Good luck, everyone, and may God be with us all. Douglas, out.
He let go a juddering sigh, all too aware that the moment of truth was vaulting implacably towards them.
Amen,
Mother Sarah added simply. Douglas looked around, startled. He hadn't heard her return to the bridge after touring the ship.
So what happens if we don't get the systems back online in time?
She asked. We enter the atmosphere on a ballistic course at more than 3 times the recommended speed, he stated flatly.
It's all right, honey,
replied Sarah, laying a hand on his shoulder.
No need to sugarcoat it for me.
Sorry, he answered ruefully. I think we're all on the limit.
So that 3 minutes were astray?
She asked again.
Will it make it impossible for us to land?
Frankly, he spoke quietly so as not to be overheard, I doubt even Sandeep and Hero know for sure how it's going to go down. All I can say is that we'll be pushing our luck entering the atmosphere at such velocity. He sighed again, running his fingers through his hair and back down over his stubble. The ship was built with tolerances, of course, but even if the New World were in tip-top condition, I wouldn't give much for our chances. With hull damage and the heat from that sort of friction. He left the sentence unfinished.
So we need to pray?
She asked kindly.
Well, I'm in the right company for that, eh?
He smiled.
And that may be the last and only thing that's gone right for me this week.
Captain,
Singh called urgently.
Engineering have done their best. Now it's on us. I need you at Science Station Alpha now, sir, as we discussed.
Douglas jumped up, crossing the bridge in wide strides to his station for the next little while. He began working urgently, in tandem with the pilot, to bring systems back online in order. The prompts flew from one console to the next without a human word spoken, and 7 frantic minutes later, Singh called engineering once more.
Hero, back to you for the final tie-up. Good luck.
Got it, Nasaki responded. The pilot sat back exhausted, taking a deep, steadying breath. He let it out, spun his chair around, and walked towards the captain with his hand outstretched.
Whatever happens next, that was one hell of a performance, sir.
Douglas stood to shake the proffered hand.
Did we claim back any time?
Oh, yes.
Singh was shaking his head incredulously.
Over 1.5 minutes. We're only 1 minute 20 out at this stage. Hero may be able to narrow that still further, now that Giorgio is back with him. He also has Commander Baines down there too. If they can get under the minute, our reduced deceleration time will lower the stresses on the hull by an order of magnitude.
Great, said Douglas. Better take your pick-me-up pill, Lieutenant. We need you sharper than you've ever been in your life for the next few minutes.
Yeah, I'd hate to miss the fireball.
Douglas smiled sincerely.
You're the best, Sandy. You can do this.
Singh returned to his seat. They sat in silence for a little while, each contemplating the next few minutes, and hoping the engineers might yet pull a rabbit from the hat. A slight buffeting began, growing more intense with each passing second.
This is it,
Singh called out.
Buckle up. We're going in.
Dinosaur, written by Stephen Llewelyn and performed by Chris Barrie. New installments uploaded each week. Subscribe for more. Visit the link in the description for free New World companion stories, available for download as ebooks.